city for you.
but we can always build more killbots.
Hey everybody, hello. Hello, hello. Is everybody well? Is everybody doing okay? Ha ha ha. Hello Purples. Hello Manaringo. Hello Nigma. Hello Target. Hello Pokey. How are you? Nice to see you. Yep. Yeah, Purple's in a meeting. I've messed my hair up, so I've got to. I gotta let this grow out a little bit. Yeah. How is everybody doing? Are we all okay? Is everybody well? It's incredibly warm here today. We've gone from freezing cold last week to incredibly warm today. So I'm going to just paint some Titans. I'm going to do some metallics because metallics is easy, lazy painting. Yeah, how is everybody? Are we all okay? You got engaged over Christmas? Congratulations! Right, we're going to move these off. There we go. Try to remember who you were going out with. Was it a teacher? I think you were going out with a teacher. Get that microphone up here. I haven't got a cup of tea today because it's so hot. I now have chilled water. We are in chilled water day and ice cubes.
Have it with some ice cubes in your pants.
Yes, ice cubing. Manaringo, how are you doing, dude? How are you? Is everything well? Is everything well over in Manaringo land? Yes. Manaringo is very cross with me because I still haven't sorted out his entry alert sound. Unlike his wife, who I have sorted out her sound. I don't have his wife. Where's the... Oh, it's there. There it is. I thought I had some tissue paper. Some kitchen roll. Which football team did you sign? It's really bad, isn't it? It's really bad, Target. Yeah, it's not great. I went a little bit high on the shaving on the sides, so I'll probably fade it in a little bit. You're in a 20-degree room. Ugh. That's not good, Manaringo. Why? Why? Right, so I'm going to... we're going to add loads of details and everything to this. Now this has had a fair few layers of paint on it, as you can see, so it's a little bit chunky. So what we're going to try and do is add some definition and then add some washes and stuff. Because nice and cool. Oh, 20 degrees cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Nice and cool. Are you in aircon? Have you got aircon? Have you got the aircon on? Manaringo. Manaringo, on with the air cooled. Little aircon that could. Little aircon that could. Just give a dry. No, yeah, we're not dry brushing. I've got a tiny old brush, and we're going to pick out some details. I also need to black out some of the areas around here because they are. I don't think they are metal. I don't think they're supposed to be metal. Now I have reposed the legs, which is why the pistons don't quite connect. But I'm not too worried about that. I'm hoping I can kind of hide that with some bits and bobs. I have a small portable aircon, but it's a lifesaver over the years. I only wish it was quieter. It would be really cool to run a small aircon. I do have a little PC powered fan which just plugs into the USB on the PC and it blows blows air across the desk. The only problem with that is that it creates like high pressure in your ear. So your ear just like if you get wrong, if you lean forward a little bit, your ear is just like. So yeah. Driver with colour shift. Oh my god, Manneringo is yeah, Manneringo. Manneringo is troll central today. It's because he's all smug in his aircon little room. He is allowed to be as trolly as he likes today because he's all aircon-y. Yeah. Know that hell. Yeah, it's weird. It's the combination. I've got it just right. It blows across the desk at the moment. Spiky. That's gonna hit me. That's gonna hit me a lot more now because I don't have my headphones on. I've got the speaker sorted out, sort of thing. So I have speaker. Right. Now I'm going to get a load.
Good. Share our lobstone, and I will not eat you. Not yet.
Don't laugh too much at my hair, Spiky. Hi friends, just got back from physio. Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah, I've got two Titans here. So I've got this one here, which I started doing all the trim on and everything. So this is one Titan, and then we have t'other Titan. Got these two. This is the one that I really like because it's a really kind of squat pose. It's got some real weight to it. And then this is the one that I've done as the Ordo Sinister, which is also super cool. So we're going to work on both of these. I'm going to work on this one first. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the metallics out. So we've got Lead Belcher, we've got Iron Warriors, and we're going to try and find some really good variations to use across all the different metallic parts. Did I show you guys that? I think I showed you all of that last week. I got my my Death Spectre transfers, so I need to do that would be quite an interesting one to do a transfer video on actually, because that's just they're uncut, so that's a transfer sheet, just a complete transfer paper. Thank you, Target. Thank you, Target. Yeah, so let's get all the metallics out that I want. Put that there. That's some oil paints which we'll use later. So we've got exhaust manifold, which is there. We've got, what's that? That's Iron Breaker. What's that one? That one's gunmetal grey. And then we also have mithril silver. We've got bolt gun metal somewhere. There it is. We've got bolt gun metal. Anything else? Now we do have. I do have a P3. I do have a P3 Quicksilver as well, but it looks like it's separated, so that one's going to need a proper. Is that like some football expose transfers uncut? Spectre, careful, your MI6 colleague Bond will bust in. That's very true. I do have to be careful about being MI6 discovered, if you like. I finished those F1 inspired speeder bikes. Oh yes, we definitely need picks, Spike. We definitely need picks. And how good was F1 this weekend? Actually, I was so happy for Hamilton. So happy for Hamilton. I'm wondering if when they do, because it's clearly easier for them to follow in Formula 1 at the moment, and I think that's because of the extra power the car behind has. So once you can get in within that 1 second window, you get to deploy more electrical power. So I am wondering whether if they go V8, then they just have hybrid power to keep closer, kind of thing. So if they go fully synthetic / fully what do we call it? Fully synthetic fuel, then it would be really interesting if they could just like hybrid the electricity to allow you to follow. Montreal seems to never you always like, if you cast your mind back to some of the best races, it's always Montreal is up there as a conversation. I mean, mainly because of Jenson Button, but it's always really good. The Wall of Champions never disappoints. Although it did this year, didn't it? Nobody went in. Russell is having a little bit of a I don't know what to do moment, I think he's trying to be nice and calm and trying to be like, I'm going to beat him across the entire season, and it's not working. Is that like they shot the drivers first to make them pedal faster? George had a moment. He really did, didn't he? He's like, what have I got to do? I thought, because I think out of any driver, I think he's the most like across a season kind of driver around. I think he's like Norris. You could kind of see it was a face that he put on to be like, it's all right, it's across the season and everything like that, and he was gutted, and it was really affecting him, all the ups and downs and everything. Whereas I think George is like, I think that's his mannerisms, that's his characteristics, that's his character to be, I'm going to be able to beat Kimi across a whole season, and it's backfiring at the moment. I'm enjoying it. I think Kimi's fantastic. I don't know how he's so fast. It feels like it's almost like a computer game for the younger generation at the moment. It's quite cool. Yeah, there we go. Look, so I think the metallics has just settled. So I'm gonna get a toothpick or something. We're gonna look at that Wilco's. Those in the UK will know all about that. I did kind of enjoy Toto. Yes, yeah. But that's good, right? It's good to have Kimi like fired up and angry. If he wasn't fired up and angry, I'd have been more worried. And it's at like 19 or 18 or however old he is. Of course, he's going to come on the radio. Like, he's not going to be able to hold that in until briefing, post race briefing. And if he did, then maybe he's not cut out to be a champion. So that's a nice learning experience of, the wrong sport. Sadly, Captain Mannering, the wrong sport. However, I would advocate for some drivers to be electrocuted as they are driving. That would be very, very funny. Right, let's see if we can save this, because this is a very bright silver. I just don't know whether. Yeah, look at all the metallic. I don't know whether it's going to be savable. Sounds like it was a fun thing to do when he had Flintstones rather than F1. He's still 19. It's understandable. Yeah, 100%. I think you've got to give him. I think you've got to give him plenty of space. And I also massive props to Mercedes for how they're managing him, because he came in at what, 17, 18? He came in to the team at 17 or 18. If he was in Red Bull, he'd have been crucified and ruined, and I think Mercedes have been ever so good with him. Oh, it's getting there, but it's still not. Oh, this is interesting. I'm going to keep mixing this. Anyway, how's everybody's weekend been? Before I lose 90% of the audience for talking about sports, because I know how everybody in here hates sports. Oh my god, stop talking about sport. I watched some of the F1 Academy races. There were 3 over the weekend, and the local sports channel aired them all. Nice. Sounds like a fun thing to do. It was Flintstones rather than F1. What was Dastardly and Muttley? Wacky Races. Yeah, Wacky Races. Yeah. In the grand scheme of oh shit, Kimi came in at 18 years old to replace Lewis fucking Hamilton. That's a big step. Yes, enough sporting. Enough sporting. You have 3 minutes. What the fuck? The Blood Angels player who has 2 Ultramarines Dreadnoughts and headset on your head. Now I've got my speakers. I've got my speakers sorted. The Blood Angels player with the 2 Ultramarines, is that the Warhammer 40k thing that's going on? Then music. Thank you very much. How are you? How are you? Is this 3 minutes in between, or is this 3 minutes? Oh, it's coming, look, it's coming. Look at this. Look how cool this colour is. This might actually be quite a good colour. Look at this as a metallic. Wow. Hope this works. Let's keep mixing. Oh, in between. So now you're on another. Oh, no. Purples is meeting central today. Purples is meeting central today. Let's put some music on then. Pop some music on. I have 30 minutes. I've already failed Purples because I have not put Captain Mannering's entry sound in. What a shame. I know. I'm just pleased he's here. Although Purples, Captain Mannering does have to have the last laugh, because he is currently in a 20-degree air-conditioned room, whereas I'm in a very, very hot, all windows open and a computer fan blowing in my face room. Right now, I think I have a ball bearing, a BB gun glass bead. So I've got a little glass bead that I will...
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
Why do you have the windows open? Because otherwise there's just no airflow at all, and it just gets stuffier and stuffier and stuffier and hotter and hotter and hotter. Now I'm currently on the cool side, in theory, of the house. So, in theory, this wall of the house should be the coolest. So the air that's passing by should be, in theory, cool. Once it starts getting incredibly warm and everything, I'll close curtains and stop all sun coming in, like upstairs and everything. But generally, I've found it better to have. I've got a net over it as well, so I don't get any flies in, which is good. I found it generally better to have window open, door open, window open in another room across there, so there's a little bit of, because otherwise there's just too much pressure in the top side of the house and there's just no airflow. If you have 2 windows open, you have a little bit of pressure release kind of thing, so you have a bit of airflow across the top floor. There we go. Yep, sound alerts down in the description down below. Drop on your favourite sound alert. We did play a game last week where I was trying to guess what sound alert would be played next, and I was very bad at it. So, I was trying to guess what sound, because there were 30 sound alerts there, and we were trying to get through all the sound alerts. We were trying to get through all the sound alerts without me guessing, or you guys were trying to get through all the sound alerts without me guessing what the next one was going to be, and I struggled. Right, let's see if that. Can sort itself out. Because that would be quite a nice, I think this is quite a nice colour. And then we can also try Mithril Silver as well, see what state this is in. Oh my word, I think that's the same. Shall we give that a shake as well and see if that comes together? Oh, that's coming together. Oh, you can hear that coming together. Oh, Mithril Silver, ladies and gentlemen. Look how smooth that looks. Yeah, we might try a bit of that. Might try a bit of that. So, what we want to do, basically, I want to suggest on all the Titans that it's not just all one metal. So we're going to kind of throw on all sorts of different colours of metals and things. I don't know why it's settled. It's only 30 years. Back off target. I know, but look at that. I've got 2. Check out bolt gun metal as well. I've used bolt gun metal. Check this out. You ready? Look how gorgeous this paint looks. Look at that. Tonally, that looks phenomenal, and it's super smooth. So I've actually used this recently. Proper silvers. Proper silvers. Look at that. Look at those. Look at those. None of this shit. None of this crap. That's just chunky as hell. Ugh. Ugh. None of that. Smooth. Smooth. Have I tried Vallejo liquid metals? Yep. Yeah, I've got all the paints. I have all the paints. How are you doing, JJ? Yeah, we've got some metal colours, some scale colour. Like, I absolutely rave about scale colour. So, where is it? There it is. Black metal, scale colour black metal, gorgeous paint. Iron Warriors is actually one of my favourite metallics at the moment. Iron Breaker's shocking. Like, generally Games Workshop metallics are not good, but the Iron Warriors one is actually really nice. What do you think about these paints? What, the Vallejo liquid metals? Fantastic. Yeah, they're really good. You have to be careful using them because they are so thin, because they're designed for the airbrush, which is one of the reasons why I've dropped them in a pot. Because what you can do, if you shake them up, what you can do is pop the lid, and then you can take them out of the lid here. It dries them out a little bit and makes them a little bit thinner, a little bit thicker, a little bit more manageable. And this one, for some reason, strings like an absolute bitch. Keep having to clean that one. But yeah, they're fantastic. Elf flesh on the face with a chestnut ink wash. Oh. They are alcohol based. They are indeed. They are indeed. Right. Yes. So what we're going to do. We're going to put on hold. We're going to put on hold the Death Spectres and Aethan Shaan. Well, particularly Aethan Shaan. I'm going to put on hold Aethan Shaan because it's way too hot. It's way too hot and way too uncomfortable at the moment, and I really don't want to sit painting teeny tiny details and fighting the heat. So we're just going to put him on the back burner for a couple of days. The same to be honest with these guys as well. So we're going to put these guys on the back burner. Although they are slightly easier to paint than Aethan Shaan because of the kind of the style and the techniques that we're using on them. So we're going to put those on the back burner for a couple of days. We might do I do have 2 which I need to bring up to the level of highlight, so I could probably do those like this evening or something once it cools down a little bit. But ultimately what we're doing is we're just looking at getting all the paints together, and then we're going to pick some to add to this. So this is a second-hand one. As you can see, it's the metallics is almost been kind of gunked over already, so we just want to not touch too much. I've already given this an airbrush, very very thin, kind of almost like a metallic glaze on the airbrush, just to add a little bit of interest and some highlights here and there, because I don't like dry brushing. So I've already done that. But yeah, this was already very thick, so what we're going to do is we're going to try and pick out some details, try to push some details, and then we're going to give it a oil wash to try to pull some things together. That's the plan. That's the plan. Do not have the flare curse, I swear. Well, actually, well. Actually, well. Right. Let's get a little pot. We've got a Vulcan Mega Bolter, magnetised itself to the pot as well. This is a pot that I mixed some resin in, so we'll just pop the resin off. I thought it would come off in one, actually. There we go. Yeah, it has come off in one. Perfect. There we go. So that was the resin I cast up some of the heads for the Death Spectre Terminators. That's the Chaplain, the Terminator Chaplain head. I thought would be absolutely perfect for the Death Spectres. So made a quick mould and cast of that, which has done really well. It puts a chestnut wash on its skin, otherwise it gets elf flesh again. Oh my word. What is the best movie quote that you can relate to Games Workshop hobby? Somehow. There's got to be an Arnie one-liner that works. There's got to be an Arnie one-liner somewhere that works. It's true, Your Honor, this man has no... It's true, Your Honor, this man has no dick. Is this true? It's true, Your Honor. Oh dear, Target, you're a ledge. Target. Right. Okay. Right, let's get some... So we want something really dark. Now, do we... Oh, that's one thing we need to do first. So we need to do that first. Let's get that. Those details blacked out first. So these bits in here, and that bit there need to be black, because I think they are meant to be like some fabric or rubber or something, I don't know, but I don't think they're metal, are they? I think these are designed to be like a big constant velocity joint sort of thing. At least I think that's what they're kind of sort of designed to be suggesting. Like a massive CV joint. Troy over on YouTube, hello. Be a month's worth. Be a month's worth this way for several metallic and copper, brass, gold, anodized aluminium cut rivets to layers weak at best. The idea is I'm going to try and get all sorts of different metallic colours on here. You love BattleTech because giant robots bashing each other is great, but I love Titans because the models are so much bigger. Yes, yeah. I really like how it's true. You're on it. This man has no dick. I'm sorry, you're still making me laugh with that one target. Just. Oh dear, Ghostbusters. Yeah. It wasn't he? He was the news reporter that got punched in Die Hard as well, wasn't it? At the end, same guy. Right now, should that be that's definitely metallic. How much of this doesn't need to be metallic? How much of this is not metallic? I think everything sort of needs to be metallic. Oops. This obviously needs to be metallic as well, doesn't it? So we've got pistons. This is going to have a armor plate on it, so we don't have to worry about painting the front side of these pistons, but we can definitely paint the back side of these pistons. So what we want to do really is we want to make all this darker and then highlight some of this, don't we? A lot of this needs to be darker. So what we could do actually is start off with a matte black wash. We start off with a matte black wash. And we could potentially oh shit, didn't mean to do that. It's a good side of having a silicone painting mat. Paint doesn't stick to it. Which is fantastic. So I put the enclosure on my bamboo P1, turning the P1 hasn't got a quality filament dryer. Holy crap, the quality improvement. Oh wow, really, Spiky? So literally just the cover. Ah, that's really good information, thank you. Really good information. Okay, so the idea is to try to make as much of this dark as we can. So the actual legs, we'll give this, because then we can give some contrast room to bring these brighter. Filament drying makes a significant difference. Ah. So is that does that dry the filament as it's being printed, or does it pause and dry each layer, or is it just like constantly drying? So once the layer has gone down, it's sort of drying as it's doing the rest of the layer. Can you put a pause in so that it definitely dries that previous layer? That's interesting actually, because I would have thought that the previous layer would need to be a little bit more fluid so that it would sort of merge with the next layer rather than dry completely. But then I'm kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen the other, because if you can soften and merge the layers together as they're not drying, then maybe you have a little bit more of a soft detail, whereas if you do it harder, you have more detail or more potential for clarity in detail. However, you then see more layer lines potentially. So, in my head, I'm not saying that's right at all, because I do not have a filament printer. It's a little case beside the printer where the filament spool hits and it warms the filament. No way! Okay, that's cool. That's very cool. Trying to hold the Titan on areas which I know are yet to be painted, like these bits up here and the toes. So if I can do that, we should be in a pretty good position to keep it nice and clean. Depends on the system. I have the AMBs which just dry all the resin before passing it onto the printer. If filament dries unevenly, you can get warping in the print. Ah, yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. Yep. Right, let's darken all this down up here as well. This is already pretty dark, to be fair. So we'll just darken a little bit more in the shadows. I could do this with the airbrush as well. I could just kind of give it an overall kind of matte black glaze that darkens everything down. Lurk, no worries. You gotta walk the doggo? No problem, dude. So yeah, I'm mainly just doing this so that we can make some of these pistons and things brighter in a different colour. Either in a different tone or a different brightness. I'd love to get some copper on this somewhere. I think the Reaver Titans, because the Reaver Titans have got like a really nice kind of hip bulb on the joint, which I think leans really well into doing those copper. I think that would look really good on the Reavers. But the Warlords not so much. I don't think that you can kind of, there's not like a joint, like the Reaver Titans literally just have a cup that sits over the hip joint, which you could quite easily just like paint that copper. Whereas if you were to paint this copper, you'd have to paint all of this copper. I don't think that really works. One thing this haircut does let me do is put a cap on. My hair was too long to have a cap. A couple of caps I've got. I used to really like it. I used to always wear a cap. When I was teenage, like early 20s, I was always in a cap. So that ball in there, I want to make sure that's nice and bright, therefore I can darken down everything around that ankle ball. Make all that kind of really oily. You do when outside, wear a cap. I've got a Boston Bruins cap and I haven't got a Celtics cap. I gave my Celtics cap to my nephew. Go. Okay, so that's quite good. This is one thing. The one thing that bugs me about Titans is this join line here. That join line in the middle of that is a nightmare. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. I do not know what I'm supposed to do with that, and it's got so much kind of paint build-up in it as well. I don't know whether I should just keep filling it with paint until it smooths out. Because you can't get anything in there to sand it. It's an absolute nightmare, and you have to kind of deal with this when you build it, and it's not been. Get wrecked. You got a black camo one, nice. I'm going to fill this one with paint. Just see if I can, because if you, in theory, it should like self-level and dry. If you put enough in there, I think it should self-level and dry and make it look all right. But we'll see. We shall see. Fill it in and paint in the lines. What lines? There aren't any lines. There's not supposed to be. There's not supposed to be that. That's a join line. That's a drawing line. I want to cover that line. So yeah, it's really messy. So hopefully, if I just kind of keep filling paint in there, because it's all really textured and yucky as well with all the paint that's in there, all the paint build-up. I've stripped the centre and this bit here because that was really clogged with paint. So I've stripped those bits there so I can do that nicely. But there is a little bit of paint build-up on this, and yeah, those bits, these bits here are particularly struggling sort of thing. So hopefully, if I just kind of keep filling that with paint, we might kind of level it off. We shall continue with that, I think. I'm trying to look at these as because I've got two myself, which I can build, but I'm trying to look at these as like a en masse kind of thing, and luckily this one hides it because it has little cables that go down and hide the join in there, which is quite cool. So en masse I think would be really good. Oh, UV resin. UV resin's not actually a bad call. UV resin is not actually a bad call. That's pretty good. That could work. That could indeed work. Might try that. Might try that. So we'll see what the yeah, you can still see there. Still see the texture and the join in that after I've added that white in there, added the black in there. You're sometimes not dumb. or maybe still water. So I do have some still water, however my still water is dried. So it is very still water now. My still water has completely dried out to still water. Yeah, UV resin is actually pretty good. So that does self-level. It also will be thick enough to kind of fill in that hole. And I've got some over there, so we'll definitely try that in a second. Because we can also spread it out with a toothpick. Spread it out with a toothpick, let it level, and then cure it. Yeah, plastic putty. I would have used plastic putty if I'd had any plastic putty, but I do not have any plastic putty. And before you suggest sprue goo, there is no way that you could fill that with sprue goo and keep it neat. Yeah, the main issue, particularly when it's already been built as well. So it's been built, and these little kind of power pack things have been added on top, the power coils. So it's really difficult to actually get in there and kind of clean up whatever you filled it with. So however and whatever you fill it with has to be perfect straight away, because you literally can't get in there and sand it. Otherwise, because if I could get in there and sand it, I could just sand all that down and flatten it out, and it would be absolutely fine. So yeah, it's one of those issues when you are. This is like an eBay rescue. So it's a second-hand model which has been painted, and I'm trying to improve it best I can without. Because if I stripped it, I've already stripped this bit down here. If you strip it, you can actually clog up all this detail. So I didn't want to strip it excessively. If I stripped all of this, not all of this would come off, and you'd just have old paint and paint strip like stuck in all the recesses, because it's impossible to get it out of all this detail. And there's loads of detail on this because of the scale of the thing. So yeah, plastic putty's fab. Yeah, UV resin I think is probably the way to go. Right, let's carry on with the black glazing. See if we can darken up some more of this metal to give us some room to highlight. Because like these pistons, we can make these pistons brighter and things, and you just want to add, like if it's all one colour, then you miss out and you lose all the scale and detail that's going on in these models, which I think is a shame. So let's see if I think I really probably should have that with some black glaze. Like I should probably put this in the airbrush. In fact, should we try that? Should we do that? Let's do that. Let's put this glaze that I've got in the airbrush, and then just overall just darken down all that metallic. See if that works. Or go in with a Dremel and milling bit. I mean, it's just impossible to get in there. It's impossible to get in there with anything. Whatever you do has to be. If I was building it, then it would be fine, because these wouldn't be on. So if I was building it, I wouldn't have glued these on until I cleaned up those centre bits. So if I was building it, it would be fine. But the issue is because it's all built now and you don't have access to anything. Right, I'm going to pour this. So this is the black glaze we've got. I'm going to pour this into the airbrush. Glug, 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 glug. There we go. Clean out the airbrush dish. That's really, really thin. So this is really thin, matte black, and it's turned it into a glaze. So it should kill all the gloss. It should kill all the gloss on this leg. Now I should have enough in the airbrush to do both, so I've got the other one here as well, so we can do that one as well. Let's move some of these metallics out of the way, just because I want to get this this down there like that. Move the sides out of the way. These are my sides for my Death Spectres. Move those out of the way. stand up a box at the back there, and then I can airbrush into that corner there. Right. Hey Jem, how you doing? Shall I put my mask on? I suppose I should put a mask on. Thought you were some crazy rich guy who bought 2 full-size warlords. I'm going to head out. Oh, I thought you were a nutcase who bought 2 massive models, but because they're just Titanicas, I'm going to go. Bye. See ya. No, I have a Reaver. I've got a Reaver Titan, a full-size. I've got a full-size Reaver Titan, and I have a. I'm currently working on a. I don't know whether you can see it. No, you can, kind of. There we go. Currently working on a Castus as well. How you doing, Jem? definitely need a drink after that. Whew, that's hot. Okay. Right, so now you can see that that is now A, much darker, and B, not so shiny, because it's had the glaze over it. So what we should be able to do now is highlight all this back up again with some interesting colours and tones. Let's get all the metallics back and the little paint pot. Gin from Legion and Boba later. Nice one, Gem. Sounds fab. How's all the Legion stuff going? How's all the Legion stuff going? Around 200 a pop, better for Epic's play. Oh. How's Star Wars Legion going, Gem? Is it all good? Hey Ham, how are you doing? It's incredibly hot here today, so what we're doing, I've got these two Warlord Titans, as these were gifted to me by a friend of mine. However, he'd already painted some on them, so what we're doing is we're trying to do like a little bit of an eBay rescue on them. So I haven't stripped any of these, really. The only bits I've stripped are this front panel and the panel down the centre, because that was quite easy to get the quite easy to get the kind of the bio strip on there, and I'm not going to clog up any details with bio strip. I don't want to strip the whole thing, because you just get details clogged up. Yes, I get more next Saturday. 3 boxes of Fleet Troopers and the Hondo box possibly more. Then the Mando box in June. Currently got Drakari Confederates Army on the go. Fantastic. Fantastic. Right, so let's use. I want to pick out some kind of mid-level stuff. Don't want to use mithril. Maybe gunmetal. I want to. It's going to have to be sort of annoyingly. Oh, it might be thrash metal actually. Where's thrash metal gone? Thrash metal might work. Where's thrash metal gone? There it is. Maybe this is a bit bright. One sec. In fact, it might just be bulk and metal. Let's just use bulk and metal. Oh, lurking again. No. Must be super busy where you are, perhaps. And look, welcome back, Spiky. How was the walk? How was the walk? What a great walk, so nice out. Nice. Fantastic. We are trying to slowly introduce some colours and brightness to all of this to show some details off. What are you going to be doing for the rest of the day now, Spiky? Got some chicken curry for dinner tonight. Should be quite nice, I think. This is interesting. I'm working an hour, so you'll leave in about 30 minutes. Nice. The metallic paints are drying very, very quickly. Right, let's put highlight on that. Just as Pebble says, oh, little purr factory, the doggo's barking. Does she just purr all the time now? Have to call in kittened. Call in kittened. Can't call in sick. I mean, anybody. If you called in kittened, anybody would understand that, right? I'm gonna be a little bit late of being kittened. She runs out of the house chasing her toys, especially at 3 AM. And she gets away with it, right? Because she's cute as hell. Has she got a favourite toy at the moment, Spike? Oh, metallic paint in the heat. Look how quickly that's dried. Look how quickly that's dried on the brush. That's insanity. Absolute. Absolutely insane. That's not bad actually. That filled that in quite well. Right, are there any kind of copper? Should we do copper lines? Should we do copper lines? Tidying up my Star Wars Legion stuff away and hobby area. Unlurk, welcome back. And my desk is overrun with Hondo and all his pirates right now. All his pirates. Right, so let's do... Dark Oath Flesh. I think Dark Oath Flesh is rust. And then Rattling Crime if we can find it. Better do an inventory of what's on your desk. I wouldn't trust Hondo with anything. I wouldn't trust Hondo with anything. Hondo is one of my favourite Star Wars characters, is he? He said we were friends. Gotta go. See you, Spiky. Give Pepper a stroke for me. I'm gonna go make some dinner in a second. It's very hot. It's obviously very quiet on Twitch at the moment. So. Been a bit of a short stream, so I might do a stream tomorrow as well. It is a bit toasty. Well, not where you are. You're one of the lucky ones. There are parts of the house that are pretty toasty, but we did well keeping it cooler today. Nice one. kind of wish Shatterpoint and Legion had been on the same scale. Do you think? Do you think they'll ever do? Do you think, because obviously you have Inquisitor 28? Do you think you'll have people playing Shatterpoint with Legion models at any point? Do you think that would be a thing? I really like the large scale, but then I'm weird. I like larger scale stuff. I think the only failing Inquisitor had was that it was metal models. I think if they'd been plastic models, I think they would have. I think it would have survived a bit more. Really think a squad of Wookiees would be ace. Have they got? Is that in the game, or is that something that you think would be cool to bring in? Are you saying a squad of Wookiees would be cool because that's what you want to get next, or is that not in the game yet but would be cool? Because I agree, that does sound like it would be. That does sound like something that would be interesting. I want more Jawas. Jawas everywhere. Jawas everywhere. Let's have Jawas in every army. Jawas are the cool Ewoks. Fact. Fact, ladies and gentlemen. Wookiees is in Legion but not Shatterpoint. Oh yeah, Wookiees in Shatterpoint. Wookiees in Shatterpoint would be awesome. Jawas in Shatterpoint would also be awesome. I have some Jawa 3D prints which I was going to use to represent Ewoks. So the Ewok Shatterpoint lists. I was going to use Jawas to represent all of that. You have Chewie, but that's not really the same. Tusken Raiders are better. Tusken Raiders! Tusken Raiders and Jawas, yes, yes. Oh, that's a really good point. I haven't got any. Are there any Tusken Raider 3D prints for Shatterpoint? In Shatterpoint scale, that would be really cool. I would run Tusken Raiders as. I could run. Oh yeah, you could do. See, this is where I get carried away. This is where I get carried away with things. You could do a Tusken Raider Ewok list, or a Tusken Raider. What are the robots? The robots that are in the starter set. You could do a Tusken Raider version of those robots. The droidicars. Love the droidicars. No, I was just thinking normal, just like the basic shitty robots that are on a. They're on a base in Shatterpoint. They're on a three-man base. So you could do Tusken Raiders. Who would you have leading the Tusken Raiders? I mean, you'd have to do like, I don't know, Mando maybe, or Boba Fett. B1, yeah, there we go. Roger, Roger, yeah, those ones. If the models were already created, then there would be less resistance for creating some rules. I've got the droidicars. I've got droidicar prints. I think I printed 2 because I was going to use those as B1s because I didn't really like the B1s. So because they're on a larger base as well, I was like, well, I'll just use like 2 droidicars to represent B1s. I thought that'd be awesome. Magna Guards, yeah, I've got some Magna Guards as well. I printed those out. Because there's loads of little kind of stand-ins. I was like, oh, I'll use those to represent X. And then if I use those to represent X, then the characters could be blah blah blah. It would be, it's just really fun. That's where I get kind of carried away a little bit. Which is why I did like the Sith Soka and stuff, because Sith Soka and Sith Darth. Oh, what's the lady's Darth Talon? Because I did Darth Talon, and then Darth Talon could you could then flavour the rest of the kill team squad around Darth Talon. It would just be awesome. You could maybe have one in roly-poly configuration, one in open configuration on the B1's base. But you could maybe... the droidy cars are way more powerful than the B1s. That's why there's 3 of them on a base. That's why there's 1 base to 3 B1s. But yeah, it's only representative, isn't it? I just really like the droidy cars over the B1s, so I put those on a base and I was like, well, they're going to represent B1s. Like one goes on a one fits on a base, which looks perfect. You agree the roly-polies are way cooler than B1s. looking okay. Might give it a kind of like an overall kind of wash thing. Whether I've got any soap. Pretty good. That's pretty good. Right. I am going to go make some dinner, I think, everybody. Thanks very much for hanging out a little bit. Hope you're all having a good week. I have to try to reinvent this stream a little bit to come up with something. Yeah, not bad. Looking pretty good. Anybody got any plans this evening? We got any stuff to go on? This one is a storeroom, so I'm doing a storeroom. I can show you a little bit of the panels. So these are the panels which I've worked on so far. Yeah, should look pretty good. Right. Thanks very much, everybody. Yeah, I might do a stream tomorrow because, like I say, this one was a little bit slow, a little bit quiet. So maybe a few of you, few of the Twitch chat, etc. Might be at work today or something, so I'll try and do a stream tomorrow. See you for that. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a little bit cooler as well. We can do some more painting, but this does look cool, doesn't it? It does look cool. Let's cover up this leg. See how much of the leg we can see. Oh, more than I was thinking actually. Oh, okay, that's quite cool. That's quite cool. Yeah, you too, Manaringo. I'm going to do your sound alert now. I'm going to grab sound alert. It's farting in your general direction, wasn't it? I'm going to grab that and do that now while I remember. Right. Thanks very much, everybody. Have a great evening. Bye.